So I'm Cheryl. Next slide. It just shows us who we are. I am a paramedic. I've been with the fire brigade for like 20 years. I'm training as an Indigenous midwife. I have a pre and postnatal coach certificate for exercise-wise. I'm CPR and first aid instructor. And I also did a family spirit program that was offered by the midwives in Ontario. They got a scholarship or funding through the government, and it was, I don't know, maybe you are familiar with it. It's with John Hopkins. It's Indigenous training. It goes for families. It's supposed to range from 0 to 3 years old. So the idea is, and it comes with a whole wide range of topics. And now they extended it to prenatal. So it's sort of just, I think it's good for new moms, especially what they so if they're young and they don't really know what to expect. So it sort of, shows how the body changes and what to expect during your birth and labor. And it has basic child care afterwards. You think it's easy, changing the diaper, even just dressing and bathing. But some people don't have any experience. So so to be just have their baby and say, here, this is this is your baby, so go take care of it. So a lot of it has training like that, and it even does household finances, and it goes through the whole thing. Or if you have other kids, how the transition, how the other kids adapt, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there's even relationship information's included in there. So it's it just blended right into my whole program. So I'm grateful for that. Then I have two of my daughters also assisting me. Cheryl is also a paramedic. She's been helping me with clients because our schedules are opposite. So if I'm working, then she's usually free and whatever. So, and then my other daughter, Raven, she's a chef, and she sort of helped me. I had one client who really needed extra help with meal prep. She was just so exhausted. She's I can't even eat in the morning. She couldn't even sit down to get a good meal. And so we made a whole bunch of breakfast burritos that she could freeze and just heat them up in the microwave. And so it was helpful. And we're all mothers. We're aunts. I'm a grandmother now. I have 6 grandkids. So it's just, when the idea came to me, we've been talking about it for years, and it was we need something to be put in place, and then it was sort of there was money available, and I'm I said, okay, I'm gonna write this up, and then it sort of happened really fast, and there wasn't really as much planning as should have went into it, but I'm presently on my 2nd session. The first session started late. It was only 3 months. But I had budgeted for 10 baskets, so sort of not 10 people had their babies within 3 months, so it sort of carried over. It was an ongoing thing, so, but it went good. The people who I served seemed grateful. So these are some of the things we'll do. We'll run errands, we'll go to the store, the post office, or anything, household chores. We'll do laundry, sweep and wash floors, vacuum dishes, whatever you may need. And if there's other children, we may watch them or get them on the bus, off the bus. It depends on what time that we're actually needed. And I put pets on there, but I don't know. I guess we could always take care of pets too. Maybe they just take them up for a walk or something, but I don't know.
Family, the pets.
But my daughter's always has allergic to everything, so I don't know how well that would go over with her. And as I said, we can provide information on newborn care, safety. I usually, if they're interested, I'll go through like infant CPR with them. It includes choking. And it's not certified, but at least, if the family is aware of what to do and when to call and whatever, so. And also in my basket, I give out paper information on postpartum depression. So it's like a big questionnaire, but it's not like you sit there and you answer questions, and it's really just reading the information, and it's also for like the partners and families. So if they become aware of the signs and symptoms of, like, say that the new mother's not sleeping or she's not eating, or it gives them at least maybe a faster way to intervene. Like,
Some place to start.
Yeah, and like, okay, I've noticed you've been, acting a little off, are you okay? Maybe someone who's like, normally talkative and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like really quiet, and then like, they should seek their doctor or, extra help. So that's one of the things I do. And especially in the postpartum, your hormones are all over, so some of it is expected, like when it all leaves, and then like, people, there are like mood changes, and but in some cases it can develop into like psychosis or something.
For me, what I did was I got like I had a cesarean, and I wasn't supposed to do anything, but I got like my postpartum depression was I was a germaphobe. So I was washing walls. I was taking out garbage, and I wasn't even supposed to be doing any of that.
Yeah,
but nobody told me. Nobody told me that that was something that was wrong.
I mean, yeah. So it gets as if family recognizes that, and they say, hey, maybe you should talk to your doctor, see. So that's sort of that's actually where what brought me into this, because as I said, there's so many cases where people just get sort of left behind, and then we hear these tragic stories where mothers kill their babies, and all these signs were there, but nobody actually took initiative to help them, or so it's serious, and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I think it's different now because like back in the day, like we used to have a lot more involvement with our extended family, so like for me, when I had my baby, my mother moved in with me for 2 weeks, so she helped me and stuff like that. But nowadays, I find that there's, society has shifted to a point of where maybe there's not that much involvement with the extended family in the everyday lives of the mother.
That was like one of the things that motivated me too. I mean, like, when I had my babies, my mother was still working, so she wasn't always available. She was available for emergencies, but not like that every day. And I had like 4 kids, one after the other, and I was like, and I remember what it was like. It was like I was overwhelmed at a lot of times, and so I'm just trying to help families, not to resort to that where you're crying all by yourself.
Right.
And then I also do, so that first, my initial program runs from the birth, 6 weeks. So hopefully people let me know when they have their baby, and I try to get to their house as soon as possible, like not like the first day, let them settle, and try to get there within the first week anyways. I bring them a basket with some different supplies, and it's all up to them, like how much help they want, or like when they want it. So if they just need me for cleaning or running errands, a lot of times I'll just say, okay, well, here's my card. I give them my cell number at that point, and I'll say, just text me if sometimes it's just like, can you go pick up a loaf of bread or something, something as simple as that, or actually going in their house, tidying up, washing laundry, whatever, and or if they just want to like take a nap, or I can stay there with the baby, and or for them to take a shower, or just so that they're not like, I don't know, like it's just, I don't know,
Just so they feel supported.
yeah, like maybe like they're like, okay, I don't want to take a shower right now because I don't want to leave the baby by themselves, or so it's just giving them that little peace of mind that give them half an hour in the shower, will be great. But so yeah, it's all based on individual needs. If they, I'm sort of thinking like maybe up until now it's only been Monday to Friday, but I mean I was always available for weekends if they needed something, but I was even thinking like in the evenings, because I met this other postpartum woman, and she actually does like night shifts at people's houses. So I was thinking, okay, well maybe I could squeeze that in, like how much could one good night's sleep for a mother, like benefit them like mentally and physically, and I go, so that I'm still trying to see if I could do that. But after the 6 weeks is over, I also offer special clothing services. So,
Could you explain what closing services are?
yeah, one of my mentors so far is Mexican midwife. So I've been following her. She does like the spiritual and aspect of my learning, and I did a week program with her where she taught like she taught us how she closes her client services. So at the end of their 6 weeks and whatever she does, she offers them a pelvic steam, and it's just like different herbs that are boiled, and then the woman sits over it and it sort of cleanses her vaginal area, and then she does a herbal bath. Same thing, she boils herbs and she adds it to their tub, and I have a little tub that I bought that it fits normal in any bathtub, or it fits nicely in a shower. So we sort of fill that up, and the woman sits in it, and it's supposed to sort of like be like what do you call it? A sweat, because like you put them in there as hot as they can take it, then I cover them with like a sheet, so it keeps all the heat in and whatever. So they'll sit in there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then I drag along my massage table to their house. I fix it up, and then they get a massage. It usually lasts about an hour. And then we do the body wrapping. So they call it like a bone closing. So it's, I don't know if you know those Mexican cloths, they're rebozos. They're like 5 feet long or even longer. But I put that on the massage table. I use 5 or 6 of them, depends on how tall they are. And so after the massage is over, and then I wrap them, and it sort of, just sort of like, it symbolizes like the end of the birth process and the healing part. I mean, technically we're not healed right from birth in 6 weeks. Some people it takes like years, but this is just sort of to say, okay, like, your body did it, you got through that part, and then you wrap them. It's sort of just like the way you wrap babies, right? It's nice and tight, they're snug, and you let them sit there for like 20-30 minutes, and then you unwrap them, and then it's sort of like, I don't know, people said like they they didn't realize how much they needed it. Like they were a little hesitant to accept it because it's like, something new, right? It's like, I mean, I try to explain to them exactly what it is and whatever, so they're like, yeah, all right, I'll try it. But then like once it was done, they were like, oh my God, it felt so good. It was even just to be, and at that time I'll have like, either my daughter or if they have family, they come and someone can watch the baby. So like, they're not worried about the baby. They're not, this is like 3 hours of just time for themselves. And we do it like in your house. It's all nice and dark. So it's nice.
It sounds amazing. I want to experience it because I work at County Memorial as the parent support worker, and I'm listening to what you do. Is it just you, or is there other people as well?
I have my 2 daughters helping me.
Yeah. Okay. This is amazing. Because you seem like you run this project and you have people working for you, but we kind of do similar stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. All that to say that if ever you needed someone to watch the babies or the kids or the moms, to me, that's part of parent support. So you could tell, we could work together, you could tell me what days, and I could come watch the baby. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Yeah. I don't know what days, like, you do it on? Or?
Yeah, it's like sporadic. It's like whenever they need
I get
it,
it.
whatever. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the closing. It says at 6 weeks, but I mean, we've had instances where it sort of went over like a week because there was issues at the 6 week. But and then even like if someone has a loss, that like the same procedure
miscarriage
can be done. Yeah, and or they use it also for like any change of like if you hit menopause or if like if different stages of your life they'll do this this practice. So right now I'm just focusing on postpartum families. So I was asked by somebody to do it for someone else. And I said, yeah, I'll do it, but I mean like I don't know, I guess I'll have to charge them or for. And then the thing is like this is more sort of like a trauma, like a trauma related thing. So I was like, and I'm not like a therapist, so like, and I said some of these, especially the wrapping, it can sort of bring real emotions to the surface, especially if they had like a traumatic birth or if they something like. So that's why I said like I have to inform them when don't be alarmed like 2 days after you have this done that you either you have like dreams or it can affect you some way other than like rape the present time. So like, and then at that time like they should talk to a therapist if they have, or at least let someone else know what they experience, or I mean even call me and whether if it's good or bad, and then I can tell them to go seek out additional help. But yeah, so this is what I drop off at their house.
Nice.
There's I brought my cards too. But there's tea. There's it helps like in mother milk tea. There's milk that helps with rebuilding like red blood cells. There's perineal spray, baby oil. So stuff just to. There's nipple butter, like her balm.
Perineal spray, is that on the perineum?
Yeah, just like if you had sutures, or
Oh.
at all times, sometimes you get these little tears and it sort of burns, and it just helps you after you go, you spray on it.
Really?
So it's like a
They didn't
fluid.
have that when I was.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they didn't have. I give some diapers just to encourage reusable. There's some lactation cookies.
It's an amazing box.
There's a blanket, baby blanket, and I have little. And there's, I also, this session I included, like a belly band. Like my mentor, that's what she does. She, as soon as the baby is born, within a couple of hours, they wrap their abdominal area. They use, it's like the ACE bandage, you can only get in Mexico. And I don't know, maybe, they say any type of abdominal surgery that they'll use that for. So, this is something similar. I mean, I have some of those other elastic bandages, but I tried it once and I don't think the person really liked it because then we had like tuck tape on it because it only has those little clips on it. So it didn't, it was like, if you wanted, because you wanted, the idea is to put it really, really tight, right? And
Yeah, I just had a question about that because I know a long time ago, I remember always hearing stories where the grandmother would really make sure that the mother used one of those. And then over time, it seems like it got lost.
yeah.
And then back when I had my, I didn't do that for my first two, but my daughter, I did. And it was only because at the time it was like some celebrity brought attention to it, and all of a sudden it became like a thing again. And then you didn't hear about it. So I wasn't sure, I'm like, is it beneficial or is it just
The whole idea behind it is like to try
it's
to
your muscles,
put your,
right? Like,
not really your muscles, it's more for like your organs.
yeah, well,
Because like everything gets all displaced, right, when your uterus is this big and then it shrinks, everything sort of has to find its way back. So if you bind it, it sort of helps it go faster, I guess, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you'd have to do more research on it, but it was just like what she had explained at the time, and they wrap like right away.
Yeah.
And you can wear it like they said 23 hours of the day, so take it off, I guess, when you shower or whatever. And but yeah, that's the whole thing, right? You want support, so, because I mean, I know how much everybody's always told, you're not supposed to lift over 10 pounds for so many weeks, but some babies just be able to pick the baby up, right? They're like 10 pounds, and like it's all just about like body mechanics too, like how you move, how you sit, even like how you're sitting there feeding a baby. Like you have to be all comfortable and not like leaning forward because that puts pressure on your back, and just like getting up and bending down, like the worst thing, bend this way, which you do all the time to pick something up. So like you should be really, bending with your knees, and so yeah, it's all then as Ed, with the binding, once because even like that, when I do my massage, there's like you sort of I massage the abdomen so you can actually feel, and then that sort of just prevents like later on like prolapse, whether it's your bladder, your rectum, or your uterus. And people, I mean, I advocate for pelvic floor therapy after. I mean, like everybody's like, no, everything's good on there, but like you have 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, and that wasn't even mentioned when I had my kids. Like they didn't even. It was like, yeah, it was normal. Like you laugh or you sneeze and you pee, and it's like, no, it's not. You need to control that.
It's not normal?
Wait. This is something new.
But yeah, it was always just, people said that, okay, like you lose control over it, so what? There is help out there.
But yeah, I think like these things, like they were used
Yeah.
a long time ago, and then all of a sudden, it kind of like those traditions became lost. And I think that's why like a lot of things you see, a lot of issues that women have with their bodies later on have to do with those things, like the 10, like you're not supposed to get out of bed for 10 days. I know my grandmother used to say like that's, that was really, really emphasized, like how important it was. And then over time, I think, like especially with the Western, like Western beliefs, where they were like, well, you're not a strong woman.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you insist on staying in bed for 10 minutes, but it's so important, you know, because that's where you start to see illness if you don't stick to like taking care of yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons also that like different cultures too. Them it's like 40 days though. I think it's who got they do that? Like 40 days that the mother stays in bed and the extended family does everything. I guess they just bring the baby to feed and that's it. And it's important because there's damage that's done but try to tell that too. Like, oh, you should be home sleeping right now. They're like, no, I'm still gonna go to Walmart. And but you know, with more people saying it or you know actually helping them with you know letting them okay, you know, go take a nap or whatever, you know, I got this. But yeah. So yeah, that's all in there. I also give food certificates for local restaurants, just so like when they get home, they don't necessarily have to start cooking. I know like family members sometimes they'll like you know they'll do like a meal train but you know not everybody has that. So that's sort of I mean great if you don't need it. I don't know, give it to somebody who needs it but who doesn't want a free meal, right? And I sort of went through different restaurants in town. I like to stick to Naked Greens though. They have really good salads. But the thing is like I think their hours. At one point their hours were, I think they were closed on the weekends, but I think now they're back open. And then I had it from Oasis on the highway. If you're there though, they close on the weekends. And then I was using the taco place,
Get
Local, and that one I think they're pretty good on that. And the tools have it, so I mean, you can do breakfast, you can do supper, you can. So you know, it should vary, and it depends on when I'm buying the certificates and what's open. So, or I'll ask the client, you know, what they prefer, and then if they want two at the same place, I'll get them two. But yeah. That's and there's our basket, and I think that's it. Oh no, okay. So it's immediately after the birth, up to 6 weeks. I provide up to 42 hours of services per client. So that's comes out to maybe 6 hours a week if they need it. I mean, some people only go there maybe once a week, you know. It's sort of like the closing thing usually takes like anywhere from 5 hours, like the setup, cleanup and everything. So that's included in that 42 hours. Yeah, so like I said, it depends. And when I drop the basket off, I let them know what I do, when I'm available, and it's up to them to contact me to say, you know, can you come tomorrow or whatever. Or I mean, I tell them that my schedule is quite hectic right now, but if it's something like emergency, like you need to get, say, I don't know, some medication, or if you need to get diapers, or you know, like we could pick it up, just drop it off. So I said, you know, don't be afraid to contact me, and if I can try, as I said, I have other people that I could just send to the store and whatever. So it's you know, basically what they need. So let's see. So there were some requirements that I had to follow. You have to be from Kahnawake and recently given birth. And I have a survey that I send everybody at the end just to see how they like the products, how they like the services, if they took advantage of the closing ceremonies, because some don't. Like, I mean, that's fine. It's up to them. They don't have to. And that's it. And if they have any ideas like how I could change it, or you know, suggest different products, so I get feedback from them. And,
something I do with family members when they have baby, close family members, is I have a recipe for energy balls, And they're very healthy, very whatever. And I'll make a batch of those, and they're easily frozen. You can freeze them, pull them out, you know, like a couple hours before you want to use it. If you like, I could show you that recipe, and it's kind of nice because the ingredients are all healthy. You throw it in that thing, they can put it in their freezer. Because I found that, like you said earlier, you know, I didn't even have time to eat. You know, so sometimes they just have the baby on the breast all day because that's what the baby is with. And they could just munch on one of these energy balls. You know, so I mean, if you like, I could share the recipe, and even they could make it themselves, you know. But,
Well, that's what I was telling Lee, that I was, again, thinking of trying to incorporate something different with the program, like go see the clients and before they have their baby. This way you already start making like a connection, because like some people, like you walk into their house and you're like, okay, I'll give them, like, you know, like, you want me to come to your house tomorrow to clean it, or like, I don't know who you are. And you know, so there's like, I think maybe that could be a little hesitancy on their part. So this way, if I go there before, and you know, that's a good, make sure that they're ready for their birth, sort of like, especially for new mothers who don't know what to expect. Go through some like scenarios, or you know, even you know, just to make them sort of feel a little more confident that they can do it, and you know, and then as I said, even if they're interested, we can either do like some meal prep, they can freeze it, or like those things. I mean, sometimes once you're in labor, you don't really want to eat anything too, so even like those energy balls or something could be just good to give them that extra push that they need. And yeah, so
Excellent.
that's in the process. So I think
I want to have a baby now. Because
I was thinking the same thing, but I'm like, I'm dried up. One is good. So if I'm working with a family that would need this, do I just call you to refer them? Like, there's certain things that, like, let's say accompaniment or whatever I do, but let's say do they have to follow the whole like, I'm sorry, I missed some of it because I thought it started at 10:30. Do I just call you to say I have a mom that would be interested, or?
well, I mean, like, yeah, if they're interested,
Yeah.
but it would be more for like them to call. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, just say.
Oh, yeah, I
that's
see
my
what you
number,
mean, yeah.
and rather than, I don't know.
I wasn't sure how it worked, that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
but I know I had given Carrie, I
Yeah.
met with her at one
Yeah,
point, and
she's
she had
been
some of my cards,
Okay.
and
I'll take
I
some of
had
your cards.
yeah, I have some, but as I said, I'm in my second session right now. The
Right.
first couple of clients I had, I actually had two that took advantage of like more services, so that's why. And then I had put a call out again, and then I got like so many requests that I was like, then I don't know if I should like interview people before, you know, like to give it to the people who's going to use
The whole.
the whole thing, because that's like, I mean, there's no strings attached. Like you get the basket, whatever. But I mean, like, if someone just wants the basket and not the services,
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to them. But like, if I run out of baskets and I don't have it for someone else, you know, like who could really benefit from it? So that's where it's like. And I mean, like, they don't know, right, if I'm asking, okay, well, you want me for the whole 42 hours, or like, I don't want to pressure them into anything, but just to, I don't know.
But it's preferable to like take on the whole program?
It is, but as I said, it's not really a requirement.
Yeah.
It's just, I just wanted to see basically like how, if there was a need, if there was a want, and there is. And as I said, like, I started small. Like, I only do 10 per session. It's just because like the time that I have available.
That's 10, that's 42 hours, so 420 hours
Yeah,
at least.
at least.
So, I mean, that's a lot of time. And it's you and your daughters, do you?
Yeah, like if I can't do it, and then I'll ask them, you know, can you go see so-and-so today, and whatever. So I usually just tell them, like, the first time I go see them, like, you know, if you need something, I could call my daughter and they could drop it off, you know, like if you need something quick and easy,
Right.
or other people are like, yeah, they're fine, you know, like they can come and do whatever they want in the house.
And it's provided, the program is provided free of charge for Ganuagerona?
Yeah.
All right, and normally how would you sign up?
I gave these cards out. There's I have my home phone number on there, so people can leave a message and I'll call them back. But a lot of people lately have been reaching out on Facebook. I mean, I had a Facebook, but then, you know, like that, I'm not the tech-savvy person, so I had my daughter doing that, and then it was like hard. I'm like, okay, well, we have to do another post, and she's like, she's busy, and so, and that's why I said it's sort of like, sort of slacking there for a little bit. And then, so now I have 5 baskets left, or 5 programs, and I was like, okay, time's running out. I need these clients. So now I got like a rush of everybody, so I'm trying to figure out who the 5 who are closest due, like, and then I have like a waiting list for, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to have the time to do another program after this. So I was like, okay, there is like a high demand, and I'm going to have to get
Just curious, where does your funding come from?
KSCS, yeah.
Okay, just curious.
What motivated you to like, pursue this?
Just from people's experience because I'm training as an Indigenous midwife, and I've been in school for 6 years now, and just people's experience, and as I said, and a lot of people, like, they're sort of maybe shy to ask for help, and so figure if you offer it, they don't have to, like, they have to just say, you know, accept the help. But even like that, like, I think some people are like, well, you know, I should be able to do this myself. But you know, the whole thing is like remote healing, and so I mean, yeah, I mean, you can do it, but I don't want you to do it. I want you to rest. I want you to eat good. I want you to take a nap. I want you, you know. So in 10 years, you can hold your pee when you laugh. Or you want to go for a jog, you don't have to wear a diaper.
Yeah, I did, but I do think like it's really great that you're doing this, you're bringing attention to it, like Lee with your group, with the doulas, because for me, like, to be honest, when I had my kids, I felt like, oh, I need it, exactly what I said earlier, you know, like I felt like I needed to be tough, I needed to show that I was strong, and that I, you know, like I was able to just like get past it like this, and it wasn't, I didn't want to make a thing of it, you know, like, because I didn't feel like it was, and no one told me, like, I didn't have anyone helping me when I had my baby, you know. I remember my husband taking a couple of days off work, and we had the baby, and then after that I was by myself, and I remember like a few days later, all of a sudden wondering why, you know, like all of a sudden I'm so engorged, and it's painful, and I remember crying and calling my mother, and my mother couldn't remember. So I felt like I had no one to go to, and I felt alone and isolated, and I remember depressed. I was 19 years old and feeling depressed. Nobody, you know, and then my next 2 kids, it was the same thing. Like, I just had them, and I just did it, you know, and I remember getting sick, like a couple of days in, because I'm cleaning my house the day I get home from the hospital, but no one told me any, you know, like any different. And so now that I'm aware that I'm a grandmother, you know, and I have grandkids that are coming, it's really opened my eyes to where I need to step in now, you know, and do my part and show them and teach my kids, so that carries on, you know. So it's good, because it's like bringing back that awareness of how important it is.
Yeah.
So,
I just have a couple of questions. My social worker suggested I came to these sessions, pick up on stuff, get back in the loop, as it were. And this wasn't exactly what I would say was a topic within my wheelhouse, or whatever you want to call it. But I do have general questions about, like, you would have statistics, for example, about how many families are having children, say in the average year in Kahnawake. I know that you mentioned there's you and your two daughters doing this work now. And you kind of, you said your second session, like you're just starting with, more or less. Do you feel that there is like really a great need that needs to be addressed, and that maybe you might want to, I don't know, I guess consider getting more staffing to help you out with what you do and that sort of thing?
I guess I would benefit, but as I said, it started as almost like after a discussion with somebody, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're a good idea, and then all of a sudden, like I heard a promotion on the radio say, oh, you have any ideas for, it was like a promotion, like healthy or something, and I was like, yeah, that would fit right in there, and then it was like, okay, and then I didn't even know there was money available, I didn't even know what the thing was, and then I called up and they're like, yeah, you have to, they sent me the paperwork, so it was sort of just like, it came on fast, but like I've been affiliated with the midwives in Augustosne, and they're doing all the time. They're always doing some type of giveaways. They do. I said they did have like a mother's helper type of program where they would go in and help with it. And so I'm like, okay, well, they're doing it there. It's working. They have a demand for it. So, and I remember when I had my kids are small. I do remember getting help, and I had spoke to what's her name, Rebecca? She actually called me when I was promoting this, and she said sort of that program sort of dissolved. Just like, I remember it was just like a year or two, because I remember like someone coming to my house watching my kids while, helping me clean and stuff like that. But I don't know where, and that's what one of the questions I asked, like, would these families be needing like more help after six weeks? And some people said, yeah, like at least 6 months or something, like, so I don't know if I know at one meeting I was at, they were talking about that. Is that in place now? Like, do they have someone that can
is
go?
this at KSTS?
No,
or
it was
Iron Memorial.
it was Cattery Hospital, I believe.
I don't think it's in place, but I think my role is to, because that's something that they've been wanting, they've been making requests on government funding, and it seems like KSCS and County Memorial put their funds together to have me on board, and so maybe that's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't discussed yet, but it sounds to me, that's why when I came in, I'm like, oh, she seems like the manager. I mean, I think I saw you of the future because it sounds like it's growing faster than, because there's a need for it for sure. And it's more, there's a need for it for sure. And I think the more people, for sure, I'm gonna promote it. I'm gonna, talk to the families I'm working with. Yeah, it sounds like it's.
And back to your question about statistics, we've been working over the past so many years. They average like 100 births a year in the community. But last year, I believe there was only was like a decline. It was like only like 60 But then from what I heard this year, it's like, oh yeah, there's a boom. So, I don't know, it just like varies.
See, how long ago was the powwow?
I do remember the Mother's Helper program. I was part of KSCS at that time. And I think there were 3 of them. They were affiliated with the parenting group that was located up by the Indian village, where the ILC is, there was a little house in the front. And it was kind of like their headquarters, the Mother's Helpers. But I too don't know where that went, why that stopped, you know? Because before that, before I came to KSCS, I had taken a home care course, and I was a home care worker for a short time. But 2 of my clients were actually new moms. So I was kind of like a mother's helper through that program, through that job, you know? But and it was very, very beneficial. I had one mom that had a set of twins, so, you know, you can only imagine, right? You're juggling, and that's what I would do. I'd be there for the day, I'd get her around and going, and I'd switch the babies up when she was breastfeeding and such, I'd help her there. But I don't know where that all went, so this is just wonderful, and it's like what you're saying, you know, you're a team of 3, you know?
Yeah.
So it sounds like it could, there's potential to grow. And to revitalize it, you know, for the future moms and families.
Does anyone know of anything else there is for women with babies that are past the 6-week mark or anything else? Because I know we go to Vanessa Rice's for like a group, and she goes through the book and like talks about each chapter in the book, or like sometimes there's visitors from Catherine Memorial for like nutrition. But I was just wondering if there's anything else. Like, is there any other groups? Is there any other like anyone else get together? Because I noticed like we wouldn't fit into this, right? Because it's like we're after the 6 weeks, and then it's still kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's easier now because we're used to it, but my boyfriend works away, so I'm mostly by myself, unless I go to my mother's, which comes to me, but I'm there all the time anyways. But is there anything else that anyone knows about? Even if it's like getting together, or the walking group's gonna be starting soon, or if there's, say if like a bunch of ladies got together and just cooked and meal prepped, or I don't know, something to do, because there's not much to do with having a baby.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're asking this question, because it's something that some things I'm putting together.
Yeah.
Because I've been at Cattery for like since just November. So, and there's things that I wanted to put in place, like that's it. Like I was like, oh, walking group. Because like I worked at a daycare in the city. It's the only Indigenous daycare like that exists in Montreal.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that was good, was the walking group. And some moms took breaks to breastfeed or whatever. So, and it's fun because we all walk together, you know, with the babies.
Yeah.
So, and then I found out that Vanessa has a walking group, and I said, I don't want to, like, you know, but I met with Vanessa the other day, and I got to go along with the house on fire. And I'm going to be coming to the meet up there on the 1st. So she's like, I know, the mom said that they'd like to walk on Mondays, but she can't. I'm like, well, I could go walk, you know. I mean, I know you guys go walk on your own, but it's still fun for someone to, I don't know, to work.
It's nice to go with like
someone
other
to talk to.
people. Yeah.
You know, like a baby. I knew. And then I was thinking like a mom, it could be like not just moms, but let's face it, most moms show up. But sometimes some dads do come, but usually it's the moms, or it could be like it's open to aunties, grandmas, whoever wants to come. But like a baby and mom support group, but we could do like the moms. I love that. Yeah, so we could do that. And I asked them if it was okay, and they said yeah, so we could pick a day. So that's another thing that I do too, is that, you know, if ever you need accompaniment to go somewhere, or if you don't have a car, like I have a car, you have to go in the city, sometimes you gotta go outside. Yeah, like I work in the city, so I could link you guys up, hook you guys up kind of thing, so yeah. Yeah, because babies don't come with an instruction manual, right? It's like, I mean, mine's gonna be 18 soon, and I'm like, what did I miss? But I was always there, you know? But, yeah.
So is that play group that just happened yesterday, is that just a one-time thing?
That was like, it was kind of like a pilot project to see who would come. And it was like, I thought that was great. Like at first they just wanted it to be for the speech therapist, but I'm like, we'll see, because it was a partnership. And seeing that it was at the hospital, I was like, why not make all specialists available? And the parents can choose who they want to see, you know what I mean? And with the speech therapist too, I'm talking about traditional medicine. I'm talking, you know, like that's necessary, right? It's part of our culture.
Because back way many years ago,
Yeah.
there was playgroup. It was at,
I heard that there was something, but I didn't hear much of it here.
When I had my first, that was 1999, I came to a parenting group here. It was hosted twice a week. And that was Mary Gilbert and
Betty,
yeah, and Betty that ran that.
it was twice a week.
It was twice a
Oh,
week,
wow.
yeah. So it was like, I looked forward to
We
it.
only
you
have like
know?
once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, twice a week, and it was like in the morning until lunchtime. So then, and there was, to me, I remember there being maybe about 15 to 20 participants.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice because it was like,
It's like
it
you
gave
know
me
the house.
something to do and other
Yeah.
people to talk with.
Yeah, it's needed, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked that it disappeared.
And they would offer like nutrition workshops at night. So they would alternate, you know, like
Yeah.
you would, if they didn't do the day session, then they would have a night session where you attended like a workshop.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was nice.
If I may ask a more in-depth sort of question. I think everybody here is familiar with it's an old African expression, it takes a village to raise a child. It's starting from the beginnings of life. And you're helping the parent, the mother in particular, and all of that. You know, we talked about also how society has changed. And, you know, we've been assimilated, westernized, and whatever other term you want to use. And here we are now, trying to get back to more of our own roots kind of a deal. Now, when I looked at, when you talked about special closing services and all of that, even just reading what was there, it seemed to have more of a traditional undertone to it and stuff like that. I guess what I'm getting at, I think we all, at every stage of life, you know, need some kind of help, support, maybe even getting back in touch with our own reality. In a lot of ways, that's, I'm toward the tail end of the journey now, and that's kind of where I'm at. But basically, I guess the question after all of that is that, you know, what else do you see as efforts or perhaps services or whatever that can be made to help the entire community? Not just new mothers, but everybody all the way from birth to death, if you will. Find that kind of reconnecting, because yeah, the world is changing and has changed, and it's going toward a very scary place right now. And I think if it becomes a matter of our collective survival to get back in touch with some of those roots. How do you see it from your point of view? How we can like spread that sort of theme throughout the community?
I'm not really sure. I mean, this is personal for me, just because like my kids were having their babies now and I wanted to take care of them. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot just, I think of education, like educating families, maybe, you know, to be more involved. I don't know, that's hard to answer. You know, this is just one part that really interests me right now, and I mean, I know, yeah, there's a lot that can come of it, like to include the whole life, but that's like a big project. That's
Yeah, but I think that like all of these revitalization efforts for all of these different practices, you know, and people who are pursuing, you know, this type of programming, that's really addressing all of those needs, you know, and she's right, like education, awareness, and then with that come that motivation to change and to pursue, you know, like programming. Like in her case, like these young ladies are bringing that issue up of not having an outlet, you know, for them as young parents. Well, instead of reinventing the wheel, you know, like maybe it would be on you guys to reach out to KSCS. You know, it was the parenting group that hosted that, and that parenting group still exists, but in a different capacity. So maybe reach out to them and let them know that this is needed again. Because I don't know how long it's been since it hasn't existed, but.
Just for a while. I did move over to parenting back about, I forget, 11 years ago perhaps. And it was at that time that we had different programs for moms. It was moms and families. And after I left the parenting, I was only there maybe 2-3 years. I came back this side, and it seemed like those groups were diminishing because they had like a Nobody's Perfect. They had a play group. They had different things for families. And it was sometime after that 10 years ago that it started to dwindle and the shift changed to where the parenting is now, where whatever they're doing now, they're not doing as many programs, you know, where the people, like young ladies, would be able to come to the Family Wellness Center back then, and we had a playroom, and we had the couches, and we had nice rockers, and it was really a nice place. And if a baby was, you know, fussing, you know, it would just take somebody just get up and just grab your baby, you know, like I want to do that to you right now, but you don't know who, right? But it's like, that's the kind of atmosphere that was happening there. And the women at that time, I mean, the babies might be 8, 9, 10 years old now. They're still kind of like a core group of friends as a result of that. Yeah. So like I was saying, maybe you should reach out, or maybe we could, you know, mention it on our end too, that there's a need, you know, there's a need.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like, I said reach out to KSCS because it existed at one time.
Yeah.
You know, but then there's other organizations, I mean not organized, but groups that could be more grassroots and just seek out funding for it. If that's something, you know, like.
Yeah, because what was it? It was on Facebook. It was a video of like a bunch of women with their babies working out or doing Pilates or something. And their babies were laying on the mats and they were right next to them. And then I worked for the youth center, not right now, I'm on maternity leave. But my old boss and colleague commented on there, like, we're working on something and we're doing whatever. So I'm gonna reach out to them again to see if there's gonna be something, because that'd be so cool to say, even if you tried Pilates and then you tried yoga and then you went to CrossFit and then you went for a run and then, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there has to be something. Like, this community has so much to offer and so much, like, you're doing something, everyone knows, like.
It just takes, like, you know, where you see the gaps, it takes that one person to reach out to the right, you know, like collective impact would be another group that you could, you know, would probably be interested in that too.
Yeah, because they do like youth, right?
Yeah.
So more like maybe young mothers as opposed to just at any age, but like in particular, young moms and first-time moms. A collective impact would probably be able to support something, you know? Or at the very least, if you talk to them, then let them know that there is definitely a need for this. Then they will look into it.
Yeah, it's just like, just be very vocal about it, that this is something you want to see happen, and you'll be able to.
I'm like, I want this.
Seriously, work together on this, like, yeah. like-
Because I'm so used to planning stuff like this, like for a youth center, where I'm like, we need something, like, and I'm just surprised that there's not a lot to offer.
And maybe something too that's a little more relaxed. Like I get sometimes it's like, okay, sign up for this program. You have to, attend to it, but sometimes, which is great, but sometimes you don't feel like going or you can't go. So something just like, yeah, let's just meet up and, talk woman stuff or share baby advice or whatever. And then whoever doesn't have a baby, I'd be one of those people, take turns holding the baby. And it's fun for us too, and everyone's happy. Because I remember, it seems like yesterday where when my son was little, just taking a hot shower was like, a day at the spa,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
That's really good.
So is there any other comments or questions for Cheryl? All right, so I want to thank you, Cheryl, for coming in today and presenting your information. Definitely a big need to this, and I want to thank you for actually starting this and maintaining it. And I think that definitely is a good need for that in our community, so thank you. Yeah, we'll go on. I want to thank Cheryl, but also thank you guys for attending this session as well. Next month, we do this monthly, all right? So 9 months out of the year, except for August and December, we do TEHONTATHRO, which is the last Thursday of the month, and it's at 10:30 to noon, and it's a wide range of topics. Next month, we have etiquette for traditional burials. All right, so it's etiquette for traditional burials because April is Cultural Awareness Month. And so that's what we're gonna be doing. And it's gonna be from 9:30 until 11. Usually it's from 10:30 to noon, but for next month only, it'll be from 9:30 to 11. And that is etiquette for traditional burials. All right, so thank you very much, and on the Giwahi.